I love Star Trek. And if loving Star Trek is wrong, I don't want to be right. And the love is unconditional. Like that uncle that you love to death that hangs out and tells the funniest jokes, but his feet stink.
Nothing stinks in here. Oh god.
Yeah, you can't separate the fact that his feet are a part of him. His feet stink, but you still love him. That is Star Trek. Sometimes Star Trek's feet stink, but I still love it. Okay, so what's this all about? What's this feet stank analogy? Where is this going? It's going to this. Anything that's been around for over 50 years is going to have its good and it's going to have its bad. And let's just say when Star Trek stank, it stanks. So yeah, anybody could do a video talking about the best of Trek because there are so many episodes to choose from. But I have chosen today to do the worst of Trek. But I have chosen today to do the worst of Trek. And this is going to have rules and regulations. So that we call it our prime directives for this series, because it's not going to be just one video. I could sit here and rattle off a list, but why do that when I could use this as an excuse to watch all these episodes again? So these are the rules and these are the regulations. The worst of Trek series right here on After the Snap will be decided by IMDb rankings. So they will not be just episodes that I hate as a Star Trek fan. It's going to be what the fandom has said on IMDb. Each series is going to be representative. So, and it must have 3 seasons to be included in this series. So that means there's no Picard. That means there's no Lower Decks and none of the animated series. Those 3 are out simply because the original series of Star Trek had 3 seasons, and that is the body of work that we need to make these rankings, right? Okay, so those 3 series we're not going to hear anything from, nor are we going to hear anything from this coming out after this. If more than one series has the same IMDb rating, which I don't think it happens much, but if it does, we will talk about the show or the episodes in order of original air date. And if you disagree with the selections or think an episode should be added to this list, I would love for you to sound off in the comments and email me at afterthesnap@gmail.com. With all that being said, if you'd like to know what's the first episode of the worst of Trek series, just keep watching. Okay, our first episode is setting the curve of what is the highest of the low ratings from IMDb, and it comes to us from Star Trek Discovery. This is the lowest rated episode of Star Trek Discovery at 5.7 on the IMDb website. This episode was directed by John Frakes, surprise, surprise, and it was written by Ken Lin and Brandon Schultz. The name of this episode is The Sanctuary. It is from season 3, which we just got over a couple months ago. So, here's the synopsis. Burnham and Disco travel to Book's homeworld to save it from Osira and the Emerald Chain, while Stamets and Adira continue the search for the valuable info on the origin of the burn. So this one wasn't so long ago. It's a lot of us will still have it fresh on our memories because we watched Star Trek Discovery together. If we're forgetting what exactly happened, what were some of our side beats, that was the tense exchange in sickbay with Giorgio and Culber. We saw that. Vance, I still hated Vance. As a matter of fact, I'm really not over that just yet. There is a character, however, that has replaced him as the most hated character for me in 2021, and that was Hayward from the WandaVision. So congratulations, Hayward. You have unseated Vance as the most hated person in sci-fi in 2021 so far for me. But I actually liked this episode. I mean, I'm still rather shocked to see that it rated so low amongst the other fans. I feel like Jonathan Frakes has the pulse of the Star Trek universe, and he knows exactly what we want in a Star Trek episode, what is expected to be delivered, and what we expect when we see a Jonathan Frakes directed episode. And then we met Osira. And I'm not impressed by her ruthlessness as long as Emperor Giorgio is still on Discovery. Yeah, she killed her nephew, but technically we all wanted to see him die anyways. And we see a kind of progression of Burnham and Book's relationship, and it seems unforced, organic, earned. Unlike that situation that Burnham was in with what's his name, this one seems real. And they're heading to Quajon, which is Book's homeworld, to answer a call from Book's brother from another mother, who is estranged from Cleveland because he made a deal with the devil. In order to free the planet from a sea locust plague in a humane manner, they dealt away the planet's transworms, which are now being enslaved by the Emerald Chain and used as a torture and execution device. But it's this brother who Book hasn't spoken to in, say, 15 years who's calling and saying, hey, the planet needs help. And I'm looking at all of this kind of suspect. Like, Book, I know this is your brother. I know this is somebody that you love. But do you trust him? Do you trust him? And while all this is going on, Adira and Stamets are working on the burn data, and they have come up with the origin of the burn, the Verubin Nebula. We get the obligatory tension between Book and his brother, the arrival of Osira on the Viridian and her attack on the planet, and Tilly suggesting that Discovery stay out of the fight, technically. But they sent Detmer, Wren, and Grudge in Book's ship. And what the hell is Grudge? But anyway, they sent Detmer, Wren, and Grudge in Book's ship to disable the Viridian's weapons array. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the highlight of this episode. Detmer piloting a ship she's never even been in like a boss. I think we need to give the GOAT a round of applause. We just need to clap for Jonathan Frakes because he brought us another stellar episode of Star Trek. So I liked it. It was also our introduction to Osira. Now that was underwhelming. It was not. It wasn't a good introduction. It didn't make me feel like she was a formidable opponent for Discovery. And the thing is, that episode she didn't ring my bell. She didn't do it for me. In fact, Vance, I hated Vance even more than I hated her. So that was kind of bad because anytime the person that you are hyping up to be the biggest, baddest person in this universe, so to speak, and then she comes out and it's like one of those little fizzled, dud firework, I can understand why some people were underwhelmed with her because I was as well. I gave it a rating on my star rating, which was 3 out of 4. And that makes it like 75%. So 75% of me was here for that show. And IMDb's 5.7, that's like a 57% because their ratings go out of 10. So that's like a 57%. That's like a big old fail. So if you didn't like this episode of Star Trek Discovery, let me know what you would have liked to have seen different about the episode because I kind of liked it. Yeah, I don't get it. It was an episode that showed us where we were going, and it was pivotal for that reason. It most fans may not have been impressed, but I feel like that episode kind of pushed us into the latter half of the season or the latter part of the season. Now, this is going to surprise a lot of people. There's a lot of people who feel differently. This is the only representation of Discovery on the list. This is the lowest rated episode, period. and that lowest rating is a 5.7, which that's kind of impressive when we look at how low we can go, how low we can go, how low we can go. So we're gonna see just how low we go. It was only part of this series because all of the franchises had to be represented, and this is the lowest score for Star Trek Discovery, but you will find that a lot of shitty episodes of the other series got cut off because of this 5.7 rating. Because there's some 5.7s in other series that are not going to make the list. And they deserve to be dragged. And maybe I'll do an honorable mention or two at the end of the series, but we're going to stick solely by what IMDb says. Every remaining episode ranks lower than 5.7 on the IMDb charts. So we got quite a few episodes to get through. This is going to be maybe probably at least a month long series, maybe two, depending on how often I'm uploading these videos. So let me know your thoughts on the Sanctuary from Star Trek Discovery. How did you feel? Are you surprised that this one is so low on the scale? I mean, this is the one when Detmer like took Osiris' ship to task. She took Osiris' ship to task while she was driving Book's ship. And I'm telling you, I don't hate this episode. This episode was good to me. Now, there's an episode that I hated that everybody else loved that by itself I didn't like it. But we won't go into that because, neither here nor there. Please join me next week for the next episode in this series. And in the meantime, I would love to hear your thoughts. Put those down in the comments below. And if you've not yet done so, please do me the honor of subscribing to my channel after the snap. Join a tribe called Trek. And also turn those notifications on so you will not miss the next installment of this series. And lastly, if you'd like to support me to continue making these videos and putting on this show, consider becoming a patron. You can do that at patreon.com/afterthesnap. The tiers start as low as $1. So if you are in a position to financially help, I will accept your money. Yes, I will. And I would like to thank you once again for watching this episode. And remember, please live long and prosper. Peace.